Hi, welcome to my screencast. I tried to do it yesterday, but unfortunately, everything that could have gone wrong went wrong. Angus baited me. The cat came and lay down on the laptop. The agent called. Then I forgot what I was going to say. Then I accidentally quit the program at one point. So hopefully I can get through this in one piece. If you hear weird growling, don't worry. It's just the bulldog in the background. Alright, so mostly we use Scrivener for the first draft. It has a lot of options, a lot of templates, and I just wanted to kind of get me from point A to point B. So I use a very limited number of functions with it. There are people who know how to use Scrivener much better than I do. This is my lame way of doing it, yada yada yada, 50 million excuses. Okay, on with the story. Fiction. This is a novel template. I'm going to modify it to make it look the way I want it to look. So novel, new project. Yay! Okay, this gives us a little tutorial. And the binder, this is by the way where tutorial is, the binder shows us the structure of the whole project. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that first of all my font preferences are the way I want them to be. So I'm going to go to Project, Text Preferences, override text formatting for this project. There we go. Okay, now I'm going to pick my font, which is Times New Roman, 12 point. I'm happy with that. Okay. Going to click Make Default. This is, by the way, where you can adjust your line spacing and so on. I'm going to click OK. I'm happy with all of this. Okay, yay, we're done. Okay, so we have the chapter with one scene in it, and now when I click on the scene, as you can see, it goes to Times New Roman regular 12 point. I want to add another scene here, so scene 2. And this is my first scene in the manuscript, in each chapter actually, so I'm going to make sure that it has a chapter heading. Chapter. And I'm going to put this chapter heading in 18 point. There we go. Alright. So now I have it set up the way I would like it to be. Now I'm going to press Command D and it copies my chapters with the scenes already in it. I'm going to keep this chapter copy as a sort of template for myself. The next time I want a chapter, I will work, let's say I worked through chapter 1, right? It's full of interesting stuff in it. Done. Now next time I need to make chapter 2, I'll just Command D again. It will create a chapter copy for me. So let's go to the corkboard so we can see all this. So I will move this chapter copy here and I'll rename it as chapter 2. See? And this chapter copy will be left alone, and I will continue to Command D it and Command D it, making more and more chapters until finally we reach the end, at which point this will become the end. Or, you know, epilogue or whatever it is, last chapter. Okay, so we got all that set up. Now let's look at some of the other options. Characters, for example. The Scrivener offers some templates that we can use here. There's character sketch. There's setting sketch. So let's see. This is their character sketch, character name, you know. You can basically use it for whatever it is that you are describing for the character. So you would, let's say, Command D it again. Let's name it, I don't know, Helena. Character from Fate's Edge, right? And we would just open the character thing up and we would move Helena over here. There she is. Roll the story. Terrible, scary villain. There we go. Yay! So I could write down some interesting facts, some physical description, personality, and so on. If I wanted a picture of Helena, I would go to File, Import, files, and let's see, we should have some Helena pictures in here, images. Oh, there we go, Helena, import. That's what Helena would look like. Excellent. Now, when I'm going to write, I sometimes I write in full screen, which I'll show you in a minute. But I sometimes need to look at the character itself to either get the detail right, or I might want to be inspired by the picture. So in case I want to do that, I'm going to set, for example, Helena here as a quick reference, clicking this button right here. And that just gives me like a little window with Helena in it. Okay, so I go back to chapter 1, scene, okay, and I click compose. This takes me to the full screen mode where I can do my writing. So I'm going to switch this paper to the left to give myself more space. Here we go. So as I'm writing, I would look at Helena and say she wore a hood of light leather. I don't know. Some craziness like that. The text is really small, so I prefer to set my zoom here to 150 so I can actually see what I'm doing, you know. And then crazy bunnies came out of the bushes and killed her. Yay! Another interesting, if I want to get out of full screen, I will click this button here. Another interesting thing that Scrivener does do is it lets you set your project goals. So we're going to go to project, we're going to say show project targets, okay? And this will give us the manuscript target, the total length of the manuscript you want to achieve, and the session target. If you ever did NaNoWriMo, it basically functions just like that. So let's set our manuscript length to, let's say, 95, 95,000 words. And for today, let's say a session of, I don't know, 100 words. Usually I set this number to 1200, but 100 will do us for now. Apply. As you can see, Scrivener counted my words, of which there was 19, and it basically made me a little colored progress bar. So if I were to continue writing, we're going to full screen again. Yeah.
Hey. She's making like a...
You know, guys, I can hear you on the screencast, right? Anyhow, okay, here we go. We have written a whole bunch of nonsense text, and as we're writing, you can see that the Scrivener is telling us we're getting greener and greener, and we're getting closer and closer to our goal, and we achieved it. Yay! So sometimes I will sit there and I'll basically try to write as much as I can to turn my bar green. It's completely, totally psychological. Alright, done with that. Okay. So if I wanted to basically reuse this template that I had set up for myself, I would save it as a template, and I have already done that. Let me show you. So let's say if I have a new project, okay, fiction, and I have here novel custom, let's say new project, very imaginative here. Okay, so new project, enter, yeah, fine, replace it. Oh, good Lord. New project 2. Okay, create. Cranky. Alright, so here's my basically project from the template that I had created for myself. I have my chapter, my final chapter. There we go. I have my character, places, research, and so on. I also added a new folder, which can be done here. Add new folder, where I'm going to put my old drafts and scenes. Scrivener does give you a function to where you can take a snapshot of the scene and move on and modify whatever you want to do, and the snapshot will always be there. but I don't really like to dig through all the scenes to find the right snapshot that I took. So sometimes I'll just say, okay, it's the old draft of fight scene falling off the cliff, and I stick it into this folder and it's there and I can find it easily. Okay, so that's what it looks like. Now let's go and look at the project that has been basically completed. Here's Fate's Edge. There we go. And this is what sort of the final project looks like. Click on manuscript, you'll see all my chapters here with different scenes. Okay. You can see the characters. I had at some point started writing myself little notes about the characters because there was a lot of them. So let's say, here's Helena, for example. Here's Karmash. There's a large cast. Here's my research. I'm going to see. Here's the research. Here's all the different images I had used. This is one of the things that George summons at some point, but unfortunately that was completely cut. This is the wyvern that they're riding around. This is a drug dealer's house. You know, let's see. This is like a room in this house of this evil hippie woman that they go, you know, do a job for. So it gets, this folder fills up down the road. Here's a castle that the California robber baron lives in. Now here's an interesting thing. When you put obviously things into research, you say file, import, files. So if I wanted to add a file to here, I don't know. Let's say I wanted an image of Helena in here for whatever reason, or image of Audrey. There we go. Let's get Audrey here. Here she is. Yay! Okay, so let's say I wanted to basically, and I can move all these things around. I wanted to put it into quick reference. I can. Here it is. It's fun to play with. Okay, got that. Now, in case I wanted a web page, let's say with some particular terms instead of the image, I could do that too. I would click File, Import, and a web page. And here's one of those web pages. Let's see. It is, at some point there's a castle in the story, and I'm not up and up on all the castle terms. So I've got this web page with convenient castle terms written out for me, with all of the definitions and even what they're pronounced as. There we go. So I was using that a lot. There's another one of those where here's the safe that Audrey cracks. There we go. Because I wanted to know how much it weighed and so on, and gave me all kinds of options here. So that's pretty much it. You start a new project and you start typing every day. Hopefully you meet your goal. And I usually try to set my goal a little bit lower than I know what I can do. Because when I set it to 1200, I can write to 1200 and then the bar turns green. I'm so happy I've accomplished what I need to accomplish, but I still have time left. So I keep typing because it's a bonus. And so far it's been working pretty good for me. Okay, so there we go. Right, we're going to, yes, back up all the projects. And then after all of this is done and compiled into one document, it will go to our editor, who will then make suggestions. So let's see if I can find you guys a file here. Open recent, there we go. Here's a copy edited file. So here's what the file will look like. It will go to the editor. The editor will then go through it and make suggestions and text changes. All of that is done with Word. So to be able to get Scrivener to play nice with Word, I usually only export in RTF format and then save it as a Word doc. And here you go. People have gone through it. Here's the copy editor that made notes. Here's our editor that made notes, and they basically did things. This is me trying to fix whatever it is that they're complaining about. Here's the copy editor, for example. See note above to clarify where he is. If in a doorway, then just step back forward and block their path. So clearly there was something here that I was not describing properly, so I needed to clarify it, and these are the changes that I made. Okay, and that concludes the tour of my laptop. Yay! I think I've gotten through it. Bye.